2, 1. Okay, we are live, Rhea.
We are live. We are alive and live. Yes, 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 yes.
Yes, and it is Tune In Tuesday.
Yes, it is. It's Tune In Tuesday.
So how was your day today? We need a jingle.
Yeah,
That would be
it's Tune
fun.
In Tuesday time. My day was very busy
Uh-huh.
and great, and happy that I was in the office.
Oh,
And,
nice.
and so yeah, and so good. No complaints about it at all. Now, of course, I have a laundry list of things to accomplish, but
Mm.
that's not a negative. That's a positive. It's a positive that you've been entrusted to do stuff. It's
Mm-hmm.
that is a positive that people want to work with you, and that you've
Yeah.
given an opportunity to support others, support yourself, and to lead. We've got to take the negative spin off of that, and
Yeah.
yes, you are busy, but thank God, for the opportunity, and look at it as an opportunity to help others learn what you do. It's a
Yeah,
time to delegate.
absolutely.
And so yeah, it's a
But
great
it's
day.
always that's always a great thing. Like whenever people say to me, "Oh, you seem so busy," I
Mm-hmm.
smile like the biggest smile and say, "Yeah, I am." Like because to me, that means I'm spreading a message,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and you're having impact. So it looks like we have a great
Well,
crew already here.
and not just that, because we have to be very careful about just being busy and not accomplishing. But it's when you get to the point where you're in the groove and the work that you're doing leads to accomplishment. That's a great feeling. It really is a
Yeah.
great feeling.
Well, I think I'm at the point where that's the only kind of work I want to do is
Mm-hmm.
work that leads you know, something that's meaningful,
Mm-hmm.
something that has that kind of impact. But yes, it's not about being busy, but it is about when you do have those things to do, like you said before, having that grateful heart about it.
Mm-hmm.
That puts a whole different spin on your perspective.
And
Um,
and I think that, I don't know if it was you who read this and pointed this out, or if I read it and pointed it out, and I just don't remember. But but the linkage between an abundance mindset and gratitude,
oh yeah,
and abundance, period. You cannot get to abundance without, and we're not talking about just amassing stuff, but you cannot get to that wonderful abundance mindset, get out of scarcity, without walking through and standing in that room of gratitude.
100% because
Yeah.
they're in the same neighborhood.
Mm-hmm,
So
mm-hmm.
you have to go down the road of gratitude before you could get to the street of abundance.
So we have just created a whole subdivision there. We're going to say,
But
this
it's
is this.
it's a good analogy. It's true,
Yes,
right?
yes. This
They're
is not a
neighbors.
this is not a real estate call, but you know what? It works. It works because it is truly about location. So where are you?
Yeah,
Are you, what street are you on? What room are you in? What is it that you're doing?
yeah,
It's all very, very important. And if you're in the wrong room, just like if you're in your house, if you're in the wrong room, then move to the other room.
yeah. Get out.
If you're walking in scarcity, if you're focused on scarcity, if you're focused on negative things, if you're engaged in negative self-talk, move, shift.
Right,
So
because that's
so
up to you to
that's
do.
right. That is it.
That would be up to you. So today we're going to talk a little bit about. Last week we talked about, worthiness and self-worth, and so today we're going to talk about self-integrity.
Mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm.
Rhea and I always talk about that. We like to bring in topics that we work on ourselves. And
Yeah.
that's something that we work on, is it's easy for me to be in integrity if I tell you, Rhea, that I'm going to do something for you.
Mm-hmm,
If
Mm-hmm.
I tell you I'm picking you up at the train station, I am going to drop everything when the time is to come and pick you up at the train station.
Mm-hmm.
But when Laura says, I want to be at the gym 3 days a week and make yoga on Saturday mornings, I'm not always doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I have those. I mean, just to remind everyone that we are both works in progress, and the great
Mm-hmm.
thing is we love the opportunity of being able to work on ourselves side by side and be able to work on ourselves arm in arm with you, with every single one of you. So so this is something that I am pressing and working towards and working on for myself is the
Mm-hmm.
level is my own level of self integrity. And I agree with you because it's okay, you're supposed to do these three things. You may have four things to do, three for someone else and one, just one for you. And you'll do the other three and you'll say, oh, I can push mine off to another time. Oh, I can push. But that
Yeah.
compounds.
Mm-hmm.
That lack of self integrity compounds
Mm-hmm.
and moves you into a place where it's more difficult to climb out of if you start settling into a comfort zone where
Yes.
you don't have to deliver to yourself. I have I've been there,
Yeah. Oh, me
and
too. And
yeah,
we send a message. We send a message to our subconscious mind that says, you're not that important.
that's right.
So you
That's
know what? It doesn't matter if you want to go to the gym. You didn't get there today, and you didn't
mm-hmm,
get there yesterday either, and you didn't
mm-hmm,
get there the day before. So you know what? You just don't do what you say.
mm-hmm.
And that is not a message we want to send to ourselves.
Yeah, yeah, because also you're telling yourself that you don't trust yourself. That's
Right?
what you end up doing. And and you set yourself up to be trusted by others, but you can't trust yourself. Like I said, been there. And what is it, Laura? Is it the lack of, because we are people who are disciplined in many areas,
Yeah.
but is it that lack of discipline related to self that's missing? And I read once that discipline is the highest form of self-love and self-care.
Mm-hmm.
So then it translates into something else,
Mm-hmm.
and gets us back to that worthiness discussion. So by not not walking, not living in self integrity, are we really saying that we don't believe that we're worthy of those things that we need to do?
Exactly, because that's the message we send ourselves is
Mm-hmm.
that we'll be there for everybody else, but we're going to let ourselves go because, you know, what does it mean if you tell somebody, no, Rhea, I can't pick you up at the airport because I'm going to be at the gym at that time? Would I do that? Right? How would you view me? What might it
Mm-hmm.
look like? Right? Sometimes having self integrity means you have to say no to somebody else
That's right.
so that you have time for yourself and you're sending yourself the message that you're worth it.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And that's not easy for people to do, and I know that because it's not very easy for me to do that.
Right. Right. Same here.
Yeah.
Same here. Being able to put in all kinds of hours to at all kinds of time to accomplish things that support other people, but not doing what I need to do for me.
Yes.
That is it requires you to really stop and ask yourself. So question. So let's play back and forth on that. So if I am
Mm-hmm.
a person who recognizes, like, at Laura, as you mentioned that, yeah, that happens to me sometimes. So what should I be asking myself then, so that I can move so I can make
Mm-hmm.
the necessary shift?
Yeah.
What should I
So
ask myself?
so what I ask myself is,
Mm-hmm.
how important is it to you? Um, and like, for instance, and I use the gym, and I'm using the gym a lot because that happens to be right now what's going on with me right
Mm-hmm.
now is that, I'm doing a lot of great things. going to be at a university tomorrow doing a keynote, like a lot of great things, right? You're doing a lot of great things too.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens when that goes on with me is I get very excited about those great message, and I like to be prepared. And so I spend extra time, you know, going over everything, and I let my stuff go. And I'm realizing that it's like hitting me in the face right now. I don't know if my awareness has grown, but I'm I'm taking action now not to do that, because there are
Mm-hmm.
ways around it. Like I could bring my paper, my script, my keynote to the gym.
Mm-hmm.
I could put it on tape and listen to it through my headphones. I could record
Mm-hmm.
it on my phone. I've
Mm-hmm.
come up with things I can do so that I don't have to say no to myself and still feel like I'm preparing. But I wasn't doing that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. It's there's an awakening that happens when you get to the cold hard truth that you are the person who made the choice. That it wasn't that, oh, it's so easy for me to fall into, I'm so busy, I'm so busy, I'm so busy.
Yes.
No, you made a choice to do this versus that. You made that choice. So own it.
Now,
And
how many women would you say make that kind of choice?
100%. I say
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
many women make that choice, especially when it comes to doing things for family or
Yes.
friends.
Or
Yes,
husbands, or
yes,
I mean significant others.
yes.
We come from this mold of we'll take care of everybody else,
Mm-hmm.
and we let ourselves slide, and we are sending a message every time we do it. And not only are we sending a message, but there is truth in that saying that we can't give what we don't have.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So if we're not going to make ourselves be important to ourselves, we're sending that message to ourselves, and then we don't feel good about ourselves. And if we don't feel good, then we can't give the way we'd like to give to others.
Well, and we're not talking about narcissism here. That's not what we're suggesting. And we're not talking about neglect of anything, but we're talking about, again, it's the underlying sense is self-worth. And the underlying belief is the stronger I become, the greater I shine, the more I can help others shine. And there's
Mm-hmm.
also something too, is we have to realize that others are watching us. Others are watching us,
Yes.
especially when you are around children or have children, or it's not even limited to children,
No.
but there are people who watch the way that we manage our
Mm-hmm.
time, watch the way that we make ourselves important enough to take care of ourselves. We can inspire and help others. That becomes a message to someone else that, this is something that you can do as well. You can
Yes.
do in the future. So it's not important. It's not just important for us. It's important for
Uh,
those
yeah.
who surround us.
Because I would guarantee that you're an example to somebody. And
Yes.
maybe it's your child, or maybe it's your niece or your nephew or your neighbor's children or your neighbor or your
Mm-hmm.
sister. It
Mm-hmm.
could be anybody. But I would bet that you're an example to someone.
Mm-hmm.
And so when they see you making time for yourself, and see, this is what we have to get past, is that it's selfish.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Self-care is not selfish, and self-integrity is not selfish.
That's
that
correct.
that your integrity to everybody else is at a high level. I do what I say when it's work. I do what I say when it's my friend, my husband, my child. But when it's me, I let it all go.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
How long
And
can we do that without feeling that sense of lack?
yeah, and not just letting things go, but how often do we want others to have a quality experience? We want others to have a quality experience, but we don't set ourselves up to have the same kind of quality experience. And it's like going somewhere and insisting that people, you buy the best clothes for your kids, for your family, and then, for me, I'll show up in a house dress, it's clean, and I'll be okay. That's not the
Yes.
way, that we want to live. But we tend to live through that kind of a mentality, that,
Oh, yeah.
I'll make sure everyone else shines, and then I'll just stay in the background, and I don't need to do anything, I'll be okay.
I'm
But
still
what
working on that. I mean,
Yeah.
that's been what I've done for many years. I've had that way of looking at things, but it's sending a message, and you don't reach abundance that way. It's
Hmm.
even hard to reach gratitude
Hmm.
when you're starving yourself of what you need.
Yeah,
But
it's
again,
scarcity. It's a
it,
scarcity mentality, because you
it
are
is
also saying that you believe there's not enough for all of you. So there's
right,
there's not enough value for me as well as for all of you. No, that's not true. There's
right.
there's enough for all of us. There's an abundant amount. Then there's an unlimited amount. We
And
just have
right.
to reach out and grab it.
But that's a mindset, right?
Hmm.
That's a mindset shift. But let's talk about a woman who says, I put myself first, then my husband, so my marriage stays intact, and then my children. Let's
Hmm.
talk about judgment of somebody that outwardly says that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, almost instantly when you say that, I had a little twinge, like, well, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. Let me tweak that a little bit. What do you mean you put yourself first, and then your husband, and then your kids? Well, hmm. So there's judgment that comes of that, because we think, again, that that's narcissism. We
Hmm.
think that that's selfishness, and we're not talking about, you go cook a big meal, and you eat most of it, and then leave a teaspoon for everyone else. I mean,
Yeah, no,
that's not what we're talking about. But we're
no.
talking about, going home and being able to take a moment to rest and relax and get centered and focused before you're able to do some of these other things. And we know that there's not always time for that, but building in the time, and still quoting Marie Forleo, everything is figure outable. If I have the intention, if I have the intention, I will figure it out. I will figure it out.
Yeah. And basically what we're saying is don't don't be true to everybody else and not yourself,
That's right.
right? Do what you say you're going to do for yourself,
Mm-hmm.
because it sends a message, right? And I'm seeing integrity when it comes to other people, but not always ourselves. And as women, there is judgment when we say that, we're going to do what we say we're going to do. And that might mean, you know, saying no to somebody, or it might mean changing
Mm-hmm.
things around a little bit. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it's just being creative, honestly, right? So with me and the gym, with these speaking things that I'm doing, I realized that I can still study while I'm on the treadmill or the
Mm-hmm.
elliptical, or I'm doing something. It
Mm-hmm.
took me having to say to myself, though, hey, wait a minute, you're giving this up again, Laura, again.
Mm-hmm.
And and that's what's making me say, like, we have to be creative sometimes to make sure that we keep our word to ourselves.
Yes.
So should we
Yes.
see who's on here?
Absolutely. It looks like we've certainly got some of our favorite people out here.
Yeah. So Michelle says actions speak louder than words every single time.
Mm-hmm.
Great. That is so true. And Safa, hello, beautiful lady. Hello, beautiful Safa. I
Mm-hmm.
checked Facebook earlier today to make sure I don't miss Happy Tuesday. Aw, thank you, Safa. And Barbara says, howdy. Howdy to you, Barbara. So Christine adds, by the time we get to ourselves, we're exhausted.
I know. I
That is
know.
so true. We are. And by the time we get to ourselves, we kind of just, I don't know, want to just lay down, maybe. But that's what happens when we put ourselves on the bottom of the list, you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Allie says, I'm a natural giver and I know I don't value myself. I pulled some all-nighters in college counseling with friends in crisis. All of my friends have expressed how much my counsel has meant to them. My me time involves others, going out to eat, movies, etc. So what do you think of that, Rhea?
Well, it's not just finding me time. It is completing the work that you need to do for yourself. So I mean we're talking about a little more than, I mean, we've given examples about, finding me time, but it's what are you doing with that me time. So I'm not just talking about going to the spa.
Right.
I'm not just talking about, sitting and meditating, and those things are so valuable, especially the meditation and meditating as often as we want. But I am talking about doing the work that you need to do to get to do what it is you want to do. So
Yes.
do you have a dream for yourself? Do you have a desire for yourself? Do you have something that have a goal that you're pressing towards for yourself? It's investing. It's investing in that.
Right.
This is, the it's self investment, and
Right.
it's a negative when you fail to walk in integrity with yourself, because it
Hmm.
recognizes that you're not investing in yourself.
Right.
So it's a little bit more than finding your
Right.
and reserving your me time.
Right. We're not really talking about self-care here as much as we're
Yeah.
talking about self-integrity.
Yeah.
So, what do you say you're going to do that you don't do? And that could mean maybe you're a business, maybe you're an entrepreneur, and maybe you're supposed to go out there and connect with people. Maybe you're
Mm-hmm.
supposed to make calls and build
Mm-hmm.
relationships. And
Mm-hmm.
maybe you tell yourself, I'm going to do 5 people a day,
And
but
I
you
think
don't.
and I think the key was the question that you just asked. What do you say you're going to do for yourself that you don't do? So, and I can answer that for myself. And I think a good place to answer that, because I had to do my commercial every time, is your journal. Is your journal. I mean, that's a good place to ask yourself that question and sit with that,
Yeah.
and be brutally honest with yourself. These are the things that I said, or at least I said I wanted to do, that I didn't do. These are things that I want to do that I still haven't done. Do I really want to do these things? And if
Yeah.
so, how am I going to make this happen?
Right.
And I read, there was some little card that I read that said it's not impossible. The very word impossible says I'm possible.
Hmm.
So figure
Hmm.
it out. Figure
Right.
if you
And you can.
Yes,
But it might mean that something else gives. Like for
that's
instance,
right.
last night, right? Last night I had this much time, right? And I'd come back from being away for weeks,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't have food in the house, and I was supposed to go grocery shopping. But I didn't have enough time to go grocery shopping and go to the gym.
Mm-hmm.
So I picked up one of those chickens
Mm-hmm.
and I brought it home.
Yes.
And that is what we had for dinner. And I got to the gym. Now, the old Laura would have said, oh, I'm going to go make a nice dinner and I'll go to the gym another day. See, and
Mm-hmm.
that's when I said to myself, I'm doing this a lot. I'm saying that I can let that go because something else is more important than me.
Yeah.
And so I'm starting, and please no judgment, but I am starting to be held in integrity with myself.
Yes. And absolutely no judgment. Now, I am hoping that when you say you picked up one of those chickens, you meant a rotisserie chicken and
Yes.
not just some random chicken off the side of the road. That is my hope.
Yeah. I know
So
you're a
I
city
just
girl. I
I
know you're a
just
city girl, but we don't
well
have chickens running around here on Long Island.
I don't know. Suffolk County used to be the country, so I get, or Nassau County too. So just making sure you didn't reach out the door and just grab one, but But no, I mean, but those kind of things, there are shortcuts. What can I do? Who else? Who can I enlist to help me?
Right.
One of the great things in my household is that my husband also cooks.
Yeah.
So so he has the kind of schedule where quite often, unless I'm working from home, he's usually home before I am.
Yeah.
And thank God we're in a relationship where there's a sharing of that kind of duty
Yeah.
and or that effort. And
That's a big help.
he'll cook, I'll cook, and we figure it out. And it's going through, it's being very intentional. First
Yes.
of all, about what you want, and answer why haven't I been able to take steps to get there? What is it
Right.
that is an obstacle? And then how are you going to overcome that obstacle
Hmm.
and move on? Now, let me tell you, if you need help figuring it out, guess who you can contact? Laura and me to help you with that, because
Yes.
it's very real. And it's not, I mean, we get together with you for 30 to 38 minutes a week, and and we're talking, and it's not all resolvable in that period of time.
Right.
So we're very, we are very sincere when we say, if you need help with that, contact us, and
Right. And
we can
this
talk.
this is a way of, when we talked last week about self-worth, we
Hmm.
build our self-worth by having integrity with ourselves, by
Hmm.
doing what we say we're going to do. So Diane Dick says it's Tune In Tuesday with the gals. Hey, hey, her house looks beautiful. Diane's moving into a new house and it looks great. And Christine says, I'm hearing you really want to go to the gym. Leave it to Christine to read between the lines. Yes, Christine, that's exactly what I'm saying. I'm not doing what I said I was going to do. And it's bothering me to the point where we're talking about it tonight.
Well,
So,
what's funny is Diane's comment. She has a comment here that says, "Exercise and eat better." So when I looked at that very quickly, I saw exercise and eat butter, and
eat butter.
and then the
But
LOL. I'm like, that's right, that's it, Diane. But and I'm grateful for, well, grateful for levity, certainly,
yeah,
because it's, there are specific things. I want to write more. I want to write more, and I want to be more disciplined in my
yes,
writing. I
yes,
do want to move more, and take better care of myself physically. No, not just better care. Take care of myself physically. And
hmm,
there are specific things that you have to do to make that happen. And again, just like you said, Laura, it's often a trade-off. It's
yes,
often a
yes,
trade-off. and,
yes,
and it may mean for me that in order to write more, I have to get up earlier. So I
right.
have to figure, and I mean, I love my bed. I love that bed. But I have to get
I
I
know you
have
do.
I have to get out of it, and to be able to accomplish this. It's a trade-off.
Right. And
It
that's what I mean. It sometimes is a trade-off,
Mhm.
but to say to yourself, what is so important? Why can't you get to what you say you're going to do for yourself, right?
Mhm.
So Dawn says on a plane, you have to put your oxygen mask on first, right? And guess what? Nobody says that's selfish when the steward stands up there and says, you put your mask on first, and then no one says that's selfish, right?
Yeah, no, but it is interesting that they have to remind us of that consistently. Because it sends the message that you
Right?
cannot take care of others if you don't take care of yourself first.
Which is so true. We know that.
Yeah.
And Diane, now Diane's two things that she says to herself that she's not doing from what this looks like is exercise and eating better, right?
Eat
Now,
butter.
Diane, eat butter. All right, don't make me laugh. But what I want to say is Diane's on the road a lot,
Yes, she
right?
is.
She's on the road a lot. So let me tell you, from someone who's been away for 3 weeks, it's not easy to eat well when you're away or when you're on the road. It's not.
Mm-hmm.
It's not easy to eat well. It's not easy to exercise. So
Mm-hmm.
those are two things that you have to get creative with if you want to make sure you get them done. But it can
Yes,
be done.
it can be done. There are plenty of people who figure it out.
Oh,
Okay, Dawn says, okay, I was off. I missed the beginning. I heard me, husband, and then the kids, integrity. I can't read all of it. So
okay.
there we go.
She was thinking that we were talking more about self-care. So she says integrity is a whole other ball of wax. So
Yes,
yes.
it is. It
But
is.
I mean, it, it could be self-care that you're out of integrity about, it could be anything, but basically what we're asking for you to give some thought to is, what do you say you're going to do that you don't do?
Mm-hmm.
It could be self-care, it could be your work, it could be creating something special, it could be volunteering, it could be anything that you say you're
Mm-hmm.
going to do. It could be cleaning out a
Mm-hmm.
closet, it could be anything. But what is it? And so Barbara says, famous actress Andie MacDowell practices her acting lines on the treadmill. I made a treadmill desk for myself. I write and design art while I'm on my treadmill.
Mm-hmm.
I also do leg lifts in the kitchen while making coffee. There you go. You are my hero, Barbara.
Yeah, you figure it
That's
again.
it.
Marie Forleo, everything is figure outable.
If it's worth
It's
it, Rhea, if it's worth
it's
it to you, and what
yes,
right? And
exactly.
our self-discipline sometimes is not that important. We let it go, and then we get used to letting our things go.
Well,
And once our
once
subconscious mind says, you don't have to go to the gym, Laura, you haven't gone in 3 weeks. It
yes,
it takes me almost off the hook if I let it.
well, there's also a level of creativity that comes into figuring things out. And Barbara, I love exactly what you said. And I know that we're talking a lot about fitness and health, but there are other ways to accomplish, because what you really want to accomplish is a certain level of fitness, a certain level of health. And there are other ways of accomplishing that besides going to the gym.
Hmm.
And so that's part of what Barbara's saying too, and that's what I'm saying is, then if that's not working for your schedule, if that just really won't work for you, then is there another way to accomplish what it is that
Right.
needs to be done?
Right.
And
Be creative, but
that's right.
don't let it go. Don't say
That's
it's
right.
okay that you're not doing it for yourself,
That's
whatever that
right.
is.
That's right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So Dawn says, hilarious that you're talking so much about health because I recently committed to making some health changes, and this is confirmation to me that I'm on the right track I am supposed to be on. Good.
That's right. And
Great.
and Dawn, you know I have to make a groundhog joke. You get out there and chase that little groundhog. Oh my
It's
gosh.
not little, Rhea. That thing is
No,
like,
that thing is
whew,
huge.
telling you that those
Yeah.
pictures were a little scary.
Yes. Yes.
So it is 7:05, Rhea.
Yes, it is. It's that time to wrap it up. Wrap it up. So,
Yeah,
once again, thank you all for, I mean, that time goes so quickly.
I
and
know.
uh, and we thank you for joining us. We thank you for the pings when we're getting ready to go on, and people say, "Okay, are you coming on? What time are you coming on? We're ready. We're ready. We're ready." So thank you so much, and we look forward to spending this time with you every week. Every week we've been doing this for what, 18, 19 months, and we will
Yeah.
get, and God willing, we will continue to do it, because it's part of the way that we are in service to others, because we're committed to helping. We're committed to living ridiculously amazing lives for ourselves, but we're committed to helping you do the same.
Yes.
So
Yes.
absolutely, absolutely. So with that, once again, get your journal.
Yes.
Use your journal.
And journal about, it's so interesting that people often say, I don't know what to journal about. But once you get it and you start writing, it just flow. It's amazing how it works to do that and what comes out in it.
Yeah.
Um, and ask yourselves, what is it you say you're going to do? And then you don't do it and you make believe it's okay, right?
That's
So
it.
we want you to be in integrity with yourself the same way you are with the
Hmm.
people you care about.
That's right. That's what this entire conversation has been about.
So do what you say you're going to do for yourself, whether it's self-care, whether it's, calling people, connecting with people, volunteering, no matter what that thing might be for you. It's
That's
different
right.
for
That's right.
everybody.
That's right.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So,
Okay. All right. Bye. Thank you all so much for joining us.
yes,
Have a ridiculously amazing week.
amazing week. Okay. And we see you all next time.
All right.
Okay. Bye.
All
And
right.
if you
Bye,
have any
Laura.
suggestions for topics, please let us know what you'd like us to talk
Absolutely.
about because, we're not shy. We'll talk about any topic that you want to. And if you know somebody that could use this or you want to spread the word about being in integrity with ourselves,
Please
share the
share.
video. We're
Please
looking to
share.
make a difference.
Yes,
All right.
absolutely. All
Have a
right.
good
Thank you
week.
all. God bless you. Love you,
Bye.
Laura.
Love you, Rhea.
Hmm.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.